Well, it's exactly what critics in California have been warning about, and tonight it could fuel the recall of more progressive prosecutors in the state. The accused gunman killing two police officers in El Monte, California this week, Michael Paredes and Joseph Santana, was on probation on a gun charge. 35-year-old Justin Flores was free despite having a long criminal rap sheet, 2 previous prison terms, and violation of his parole. If the DA would have simply followed the law that's on the books, Flores would have been behind bars and those officers would be alive tonight. This follows the recall of San Francisco's progressive district attorney, Chesa Boudin, for being lax on crime. The district attorney in Los Angeles, George Gascon, is next to face a possible recall. Critics are now blaming him for the officers' deaths.
Of course, in this situation, the incredibly tragic result is that 2, law enforcement officers were murdered by a person who really should not have been out of custody. He should have still been in jail, but for Gascon's policies.
Rob Sutzman was deputy chief of staff to former Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger and worked in the state's Department of Justice. Rob, it is so difficult to hear about these types of situations. What needs to change to get all of these crimes, especially this type of crime, under control? And do you think it's possible?
Well, in California, we have a confluence of really 2 tragedies. In this instance, Los Angeles County, where we have a district attorney who doesn't want to put people in jail, even dangerous ex-felons in possession of guns. But we also have gone a progressive course with our statutes in California as well. That has led to a retail crime wave, that has led to more former felons with guns that aren't going back to prison because the same ballot measures passed over a decade ago that decriminalized much of petty theft. Shoplifting also took away the felony status of crimes like being in possession of a gun if you're a former felon. So if California is going to turn the corner, not only do we need to recall DAs, progressive DAs like Chesa Boudin and George Gascon, who very well may face a recall later this year or early next year. But we also have to get back to looking at if the pendulum has just swung too far with our laws. And what's that going to take? Legislature doing something? Not likely. Very progressive, very liberal. So is the governor, Gavin Newsom, in this state. So we're probably talking about needing to go back to the ballot with ballot measures once again, as is the long tradition here in California.
Well, to your point, I mean, we have this accused killer's rap sheet: vehicle theft, first-degree burglary, felony possession of a firearm, a dozen other prosecutions settled with probation. So how is someone with this criminal history let out on the street?
Well, it's absurd. So you think about the gun debate that's going on in this country, which is obviously happening for very good reasons. But what we really don't hear much discussion about or hear electeds talking about is what are we going to do to make sure that bad guys can't have guns, and if they do possess guns, that they need to go back to prison. It's just not part of the discussion at all. But it is a severe part of our chronic gun violence problem that needs a lot of attention. The people that are committing violence with guns is a population of criminals, most of them former criminals, that we really need to get hardened with in terms of what we're going to do with them once they are caught again with guns. So yeah, you think about it. This is a former felon, is caught with a gun. The DA leaves him on the street. And so is it surprising then at all that he ends up with a gun again? There's no fear of any accountability for many of these criminals that there's a consequence if they are caught using a gun.
So we have just a little under a minute. A recent poll showing American voters trust Republicans to better handle issues of crime. Do you think we're going to be seeing some sweeping changes in that direction nationwide here coming up?
Well, the elevation of crime is right up there with the economic issues that are facing the Democrats in this midterm that are going to contribute, I think, to a very poor situation for them. The Boudin recall is really extraordinary. I mean, there's probably not a more liberal city in the United States than San Francisco. And so it'll be interesting to see urban leaders, mayors, other prosecutors, see if they actually start to change their behavior. Gascon has even tried to backpedal on some very liberal policies over the last couple of months, but there's incidents like this that probably he won't be able to get away from.
Remains to be seen. Well, Rob Stutzman, working for former California Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger, thank you for your time tonight and your insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.